Hi everyone, I'm working in my small Creatives journal today, just adding some script stamping and now adding some micro glaze, just strokes of it randomly. And this page was totally inspired by Vicki on YouTube, and I'm not even going to pronounce her last name, but I'll leave a link below in the description box. And I'm applying some rusty hinge distress paint over the top of that glaze, and so it gives it a resist effect. I think Vicki used spiced marmalade distress paint on hers. Now, before I apply another coat of the micro glaze, I should have buffed it with a baby wipe to remove any glaze that may have remained on the page. So I applied another coat of the glaze, and now applying some broken china distress paint, which is what Vicki used. I just loved the look of the page once it was done, and I love this resist effect as well. So here I'm buffing it, wiping off the excess glaze with a wet baby wipe. So I'm just taking some sepia archival ink and inking up a Heidi Swapp woodgrain stamp and just stamping that over the entire background. And now just cutting around the perimeter of these pages, just with a wavy edge. I did do a thin cut there, but I went back and thickened it so it matched the size of all the others. So we're using two sets of pages here. The back ones will be worked on soon. I'm just distressing the the edges with the Tim Holtz distress tool, and just ripping out a couple of sections there. And now, using the Tim Holtz blending tool, I'm applying some sepia archival ink on the edges. And now I'm drawing a keyhole. So I just use that jar of the micro glaze for the circle, and now cutting out that keyhole shape. And there's no way I was going to attempt to cut it out with scissors. I'm more proficient using a craft knife. And distressing the edges of that keyhole. And then I'll ink the edges with some sepia archival ink as well. And now I'm going to work on the back pages, the pages underneath the front, and I'm just applying the same script stamp with some jet black archival ink this time, and just making sure that all the areas that are seen once the main page is open is covered with all the script there. I don't have to cover every section of the page. And now taking some antique linen distress oxide ink and covering both of those pages. And now taking some vintage photo distress oxide ink and just applying it randomly. And spritzing it with water so it blends a bit and gives it a bit of texture. And wiping it off there with a paper towel and drying it. And now I didn't think it was dark enough, so I'm adding some walnut stain distress oxide ink. And I didn't think it was dark enough where the key opening is, so I added some more just walnut stain. So I did the same to both pages, and now I'm going around the edge of, I think I do both pages, both sets of pages with some jet black archival ink, just on the edges. Now I think to this point it's pretty much exactly as what Vicki did, except I added the walnut stain. And now I'm taking some butterfly stamps, which is the focal images that Vicki used, but she coloured hers with some Pit Artist big brush pens, and I didn't have many colours in those, so I'm just going to use some Inktense pencils. So I cut all the butterflies out and just giving them one colour each. So this one was dark aquamarine, and just spreading that colour and activating it all with a water brush. And this one's mauve. And the last one I use is cadmium orange. Now before Vicki excuse me, painted or coloured her butterflies, she applied some matte medium over them first. And now I'm just darkening the centre area of each of those butterflies with the same colour that I used on the body. So I'm now applying some gel medium to adhere them down to the pages, to the page. I think the butterflies that I'm using are smaller than the ones Vicki used. And then Vicki added flowers and leaves as well to hers and made it a bit bulky, and I didn't want that in mine, so I think I just left it at that. And I'm applying more matte medium over the top of them so that I can brighten them, highlight them later with a white pen. So now I'm going to take some, and I just spilt it there, some Mars Black acrylic paint, watered down with obviously water, and just splatting over the page. And I just covered the butterflies so that the splats didn't go on those. Dried that and then splattered it with some watered down gesso. So now I'm going in and giving the butterflies and the keyhole some highlights with a white uni-ball Signo pen. You still see the script underneath. And now taking a Sharpie pen and adding the antennae. And I thought that was enough. I'd had enough of the page by then. So I decided to write the quote inside the keyhole. And I only just fit it in. Oh, and I also adhered down those inside pages using the gel medium. So that's it. So go on over and have a look at Vicki's video on what she did. Her page finished out amazing. And I'll put the link down below. So just adding some more white to highlight that quote. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll be back next week with another video. Bye.